Well, he has his own show on the Fox News Channel. He's on the radio on WABC in New York from 10 to noon. And then when are you on at KBC in L.A.?
10 to noon Pacific time.
Okay, please welcome to the Imus Mar program, Geraldo Rivera. Good morning, Mr. Rivera.
I always thought that Lou was Mark Levin because I had never met Mark Levin, and I'd heard Lou every morning on your program. So I said, I dig your commentaries. You go off a little sometimes. But so he did the Mark Levin voice, and who knew?
It's in the Constitution, that's why.
Anyway, let's start with the Trayvon Martin case. What do you know about that?
Well, it's a horrible tragedy, obviously. I think George Zimmerman, the overzealous neighborhood watch captain who called 911 46 times, obviously had deep paranoia. He was, an overwound up freak who waiting to spring, and the feds will do their justice. However, having said that, and I have to add this, as quickly as I can, I think the Million Hoodie March they held here in New York on Wednesday night was exactly the wrong message. You can't rehabilitate the hoodie. It is gangster wear. It's gangster wannabes. Every time someone sees particularly a black or Latino kid wearing a hoodie, you want to walk to the other side of the street. It conjures up a certain reaction, a response. It's a tragedy waiting to happen. And what I'm doing, Don, is I'm urging parents, don't let your kid go out with the hood on unless he's going to a sporting event or it's raining outside. It's asking for trouble. I'm not saying that Trayvon Martin brought this on himself. I am saying if parents care about their kids' safety. I have my own son, Cruz, when he was in his late teen years, Don, his mom is Mexican-American. He has dark skin. He'd wear that damn hoodie, and I'd look in there and I'd say, you are going to get stopped by every cop that sees you when you pull up to the traffic light. People are going to ask for trouble, or they're going to walk away from you. You're trying to convey this menace because you're a cool guy. Well, you're going to bring down trouble on yourself. And I'm just urging parents that this is a recipe for disaster. These hoodies will not be rehabilitated by Million Hoodie marches. Trayvon Martin and victims like him are martyrs, I think, to this fashion statement.
Well, just a common sense, though, interpretation of what facts that I know based on the newspaper and television, that sort of thing. And not, without making any sort of judgment, which would be the reason we would have you on, not to have you make a judgment, but to get facts. But it doesn't sound to me like the kid did anything. I mean, he may have had a hoodie on. I guess apparently he did. And he had Skittles and whatever else he had. But here you got first of all, neighborhood watchman, I don't care what the law is, shouldn't have a gun. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I mean, what facts we know is that he called 911 or whoever he called, and they told him not to follow the kid. What possibly could the kid have done to be shot?
I still think, and I know this is provocative, and I understand how people can get angry at me, but I want to restate, I think the hoodie is as responsible for Trayvon Martin's death as George Zimmerman is. Now, your points about the neighborhood watch captains being armed, I agree with you. There are way too many guns. And neighborhood watch captains should be people who call the authorities. I hate when amateurs get involved in law enforcement. It's nothing but trouble. And this guy was an accident waiting to happen. Having said that, I am sure if this kid had no hood on, and his head was clearly visible, and you could see what a clean-cut youngster he really is, maybe George Zimmerman would have reacted and responded in a way that wasn't so obviously racial and paranoid and overreactive. And the fact that he had a deadly weapon, and there's this stand your ground law. Stand your ground laws were pushed on various states by the NRA lobbying groups, and they want people, this macho, the pseudo-macho attitude, you don't have to retreat. Well, it has been interpreted by some police departments to allow this kind of aggressive and sometimes deadly behavior. I am absolutely against it. I am absolutely against vigilantism, and these neighborhood watch groups should be eyes. They shouldn't be hands when it comes to keeping neighborhoods safe.
Wonder why this guy hasn't at least been arrested until they can determine all of the facts in this case.
Well, I believe that well, first of all, the police chief has resigned. He had a vote of no confidence,
Right.
but I think that's all ex post facto. I believe that most of the cops, when they looked at this, they saw that there was a black kid wearing a hoodie in this neighborhood, and was he a stranger to this neighborhood? I think that's a factual issue to be determined.
No.
But they look and they say, well, I would have shot him too, or I would have followed him too. I would have done that too. And I think there is, maybe this reflex that a kid wearing a hoodie in a neighborhood where he maybe doesn't belong is someone that deserves the fullest attention from cops or from buckaroos like George Cimarron.
Talking with Geraldo Rivera here in the Imus Mar program. I almost couldn't say your name. God. I drink this, the coffee I drink is so strong. I drink black coffee with 2 shots of espresso in it. So, you're so wired by the time 9 o'clock in the morning comes.
And then you're dosing it with that T-Gen. I mean, with T-Gen and espresso, Don, you're like Mr. Woody walking around. I mean, how can you concentrate on anything?
Hey, I'm 71 years old. I got him. Come on here. Anyway, 19 till they are. So how do you like doing radio?
I really like it. It's so intimate. And again, I owe whatever meager success I've had in the last couple of months to you and
That's
to
just
Bernie
not
and
true.
your mentoring. It really is. You could have easily iced me. You could have. And I know,
Well, why would we do
knowing
that?
you as well as I do, I've seen you do it. You can be brutal. You can really I mean, the Rush Limbaugh reaction is classic. I mean, if you had aimed those guns at me when I was starting, I would be about half the size I am right now.
They're not calling women sluts and prostitutes.
Well, that's true. I'm not. I'm trying to find a middle road. I'm not. You're the grouch that stole the morning. I'm trying to, be not red, not blue, but red, white, and blue. So that's who I am, and I'm trying to carve out a middle ground, and maybe it will resonate.
Radio can be a lot of fun. I mean, it's still fun for me to get up in the morning after all these years and come in and do it. I mean, it's just.
I wonder at that. I really do. I think that you have amazing energy. I mean, I credit Deidre with a lot of it, but, the fact that you get up every day and you brief on it, you work hard, I mean, God bless you. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you have a young teenage son. I have a 6.5-year-old.
Yeah,
a lot of it is not choice. It is, it's the road we have chosen. So we will do the best we can, and I love being here.
18 till the hour. This soccer mom, madam, is she still in jail?
She's still in jail. She can't make the $2 million bail, and we believe we know why. It's not about prostitution. It's not about brothels. It's about a cover-up. She won't give up. We think very high-ranking government officials or former government officials. We think there is even another governor besides Elliot Spitzer involved. I can't reveal the name because I don't have it locked down yet.
You mean
but
as a customer?
I think, yes. I think as a customer, and I also believe that they are trying.
Had to be Corzine.
They are trying. It's not Christy Whitman. They are trying their best to muscle her to get her to give up everything she has, and she's refusing. To her credit, I think.
John Edwards' name surfaced in this yesterday. Is there a lower form of human being on the planet than this guy?
Well, you cheat on your dying wife, and then you use her, her failing health as a political platform. I think that John Edwards is a special rung in hell. I really do. He's a low life, and he deserves whatever comes his way. I just feel sorry for his children.
I was talking with somebody. I guess it was Mike Lupica about why the New York Times. Well, first of all, they went after the Wilpons and the Mets on that whole deal and had to eat crow in that situation. And then, but why they're after Ray Kelly? Do you understand that?
Ray Kelly is a controversial person because he's a tough cop and he does what he thinks is right to keep the city safe. The New York Times is a bastion of liberal thought and enlightened philosophy in their own mind. So they like it both ways. On the one hand, they like their neighborhoods to be safe. On the other hand, they play the not the devil's advocate, but they play the populist position that, oh my God, isn't this awful that we're surveilling Muslim Americans? Isn't this awful that we're stopping and frisking 700,000 mostly minority youngsters? On the other hand, the New York Times writers, most of whom live on the Upper West Side, are very happy that those neighborhoods now have record low crime. So they have this love-hate relationship with Ray Kelly. He has a style that is very abrupt, as you know. A tough, broken-nose, ex-Marine, Irish cop. from the streets of
I
the
love the
streets.
guy.
I love him, and I wish he would run for mayor. I've already announced that I would back his play if he ran for mayor. I think it'd be great for the city. And I really, Don, and I think this is the scary part, if a liberal Democrat regains control of City Hall and they stop the stop and frisk and they stop the surveillance and they stop some of the other lifestyle crimes, you're going to see squeegee men back on the corners. You're going to see graffiti again on the subways. You're going to see the quality of life, I think, deteriorate. They're going to cop to all the municipal unions and pensions that, everybody knows the scam. You work 19 years, in the 20th year you put in lots of overtime. They base your pension on your last year, plus your back hurts, so you get 3/4 pension because you're disabled. It's bankrupting this and other municipalities, and I really fear that the run we've had where crime dropped for every year for the last 10 years will be broken if we go back to the bad old days. So I hope that Ray Kelly, and I know how difficult it is to run for mayor, and I know how much money you need to do it, and he doesn't have a lot of money because he's an honest public servant, but I hope that people rally around a man who could keep New York the safest big city on earth, which it is right now.
I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. No, absolutely. 14 till the hour here.